Just a quick announcement from the Valet Shack. Anyone who was foolish enough to park their cars with myself or other valet attendant in the back there, we will be around right after the speech is over. If you guys kept your numbers, we'll give you your keys back. We would love to stay and complete the service for you, but we've got to get home to our wives and our children tonight. So we're just going to get back right after the speech, okay? Without further ado, I'm honored to introduce this afternoon's retirement speaker. I think you guys will really like him. So if you guys could put your hands together and give a big bulldog welcome to this afternoon's keynote speaker. Thank you for that introduction. That was unexpected but appreciated. I would be remiss today to not start by acknowledging those incredible valet attendants we had out there. What incredibly hardworking and good-looking young gentlemen they were. We heard the whispers outside, but no, ladies, that was not a young Antonio Banderas. And no, it was also not a bald Ryan Gosling. That was actually myself and Mr. Chris Gutierrez, just two broke 5th grade teachers stealing quarters from the cup holders of the rich. Thank you all for the laundry money. I suppose more realistic comparisons for us would have been Officer Thorny from Super Troopers and Tom Hanks' character from the movie Philadelphia. I'd like to make clear that this afternoon is a retirement roast. For those of you unfamiliar with what a roast is, it's sort of a way of teasing the guests of honor with comical stories and memories. Typically, at the end of a roast, you may say nice things about each person. However, due to time constraints, all complimentary dialogue had to be cut. Trust me, there wasn't going to be that much anyways. I would also like to point out that no audience members are safe from said roasting, but I assure you it is all in good fun. I imagine today's roast will be similar to a workplace romance. It seemed like a good idea in the beginning, but it's probably going to end awkwardly for everyone.
And yes, this is how he is all the time. Just need everybody to know.
I thank you ahead of time for participating, and I hope we can still be friends afterwards. On a serious note, anyone who has ever been at Fernandez Elementary School for any amount of time knows what a special place this is. Our namesakes, Raul and Sylvia Fernandez, are both incredible, two of the most generous people you will ever meet. Our administrators care for our teachers, which creates a family environment. The teachers are dedicated to making the most of each child that walks into their classroom. Our custodians, lunch ladies, counselors, instructional assistants, and secretaries all take pride in their work and do their best every single day. In just my 2 years of teaching here, I can honestly and happily say that I have loved working with 97% of our entire staff. And I'm even happier to say that the other 3% are retiring this year.
I can't wait to get up there.
How lucky is that? The future is even brighter at Fernandez Elementary School. Let's scoot out the geriatrics. And please, for the love of God, hire some of those good-looking student teachers we've had this year. I'm just kidding about the 3% thing, everybody. But totally serious about the student teacher thing. Now let's talk some more about those lucky folks who get to watch The Price is Right for the rest of their lives. First up, 2nd grade teacher, Mr. Leo Costales. I gave each retiree a set of questionnaires to have filled out about themselves. Like most paperwork assigned to Leo, this task was not completed on time. Thus, similar to 4th quarter grades on a report card, this part of my speech will be entirely made up. 97, 83. Last year when I found out 5th grade would be paired with 2nd grade for buddy classes, my first thought was wonderful. I've got an 80% chance of being paired with a beautiful woman. What an awesome way to spend every Friday morning. Then names started being paired off. Sanchez and Langhorne, Gutierrez, Zawatsky, Speakerman and Hotchkiss, Clark, and the guy with the tail that directs traffic each day. Talk about the Grinch stealing your Christmas. Moving on, one thing that I sincerely admire about Leo is his personality. I've gotten to see firsthand the impact that it has with his students. A number of my students this year and last had Leo when they were in 2nd or 3rd grade. I've come to notice that most of those students seem to be just a bit more outgoing and more personable than others. I don't believe that to be coincidence. I think Leo's interactions with his students and his ability to connect with them helps them become more creative and unique individuals. In a world of education driven so much by test scores and data, it could be easy for one to forget to look at the student as a whole, but not Leo. Leo takes the time to understand his students. Like one of his cranes he creates, he pays attention to each detail. Leo's second grade teammates describe him as creative, calm, and entertaining. They say he is never negative and he never says no, especially when it comes to dressing in costumes. Mrs. Zawatsky mentioned what a genuine heart Leo has and that he is always making sure everybody is okay. Ms. Tenberg said his love for his family and his passion for photography are easy to see. Both Zawatsky and Tenberg mentioned on their questionnaires that Leo is well trained when it comes to tuning out, quote, girly conversations. They said he's even been known to walk into a room, listen for 2 seconds, and immediately turn around and leave. Mrs. Hodgkiss noted Leo keeps every Post-it note with his name on it that we receive in our mailboxes. He has a collection on the inside of his closet door. She will always remember Leo for making origami and taking pictures of all of the places he leaves them. As we all know, Leo does love making cranes. Here's a photo that Carol shared of one of Leo's cranes. Ooh, there it is. At Lake Leo in Oregon, where Carol traveled there this summer. Carol admires Leo's ability to listen and give insightful feedback. Carol suspects Leo won't be sitting still for long and wouldn't be surprised if he took a job at Walmart as a door greeter. One of Leo's daughters, Maggie, says of her dad, quote, "My mom said he always wanted to be a teacher even before he started teaching. He was always good at training people at jobs and always worked to help people in a way that they understood." Maggie adds how fun her dad is outside of school and that he loves playing games and pulling the occasional prank on others. Leo's daughter, Carrie, said some of her favorite memories with her dad were going for walks in the mall, getting milkshakes from Whataburger, collecting rocks on his visit to Japan, or just hanging in the living room watching Iron Chef. David, Leo's oldest son, spoke a lot about the fatherly tall tales Leo used to tell. Quote, "One time as kids, we were driving on a dirt path with the windows down. I don't know if my dad just wanted to keep the air conditioning in the car, but he convinced my brother and me that the windows had to be rolled up to keep out the dreaded, deadly Mexican jumping snake, a dangerous creature native to South Texas that could spring through the window and bite us at any moment. Needless to say, my brother and I got quite a workout as we used the crank to close up the windows." Leo's wife, Jacqueline, mentioned all the overlap years of having kids here at Fernandez while Leo taught, the coming to lunches and the award ceremonies. She spoke of how fond all young people are of Leo, not only at school but also in the neighborhood. Kids will come to the door at Halloween and specifically ask for Leo to pass out the candy. Graduation invites from former students come in the mail, and past students are always excited to see him at the grocery store. The man is a jack of all trades, honest, caring, a fashion guru, and always fun to be around. Leo, thanks for being a person we all want to be like when we grow up. Our next two retirees were literally forced into being here today. Both would have preferred to be at the beach or hanging out with their new granddaughters. I think we can all appreciate the humility of Bev Martinez and Leah Dunn, neither one wanting to be in the spotlight. Dunn, I had so many workout jokes prepared for this event before realizing you were the only person on the panel who could chase me down, catch me, and literally remove every limb from my body with your bare hands. As we all know, Leah loves her morning workouts. Legend has it she never uses anything less than a 50-pound dumbbell to do her bicep curls. Not to be outdone, Martinez and Holguin also do curls. Theirs tend to be more of the 50-ounce variety.
Yeah.
Leah Dunn and Bev Martinez have literally been an inseparable workforce for the past 22 years. They have not only taught over 1,000 students together, but have also raised their own children in that time. Bev points out they have always been there for one another to celebrate the ups and cry through the downs over the years. A strong mutual respect is abundantly evident with these women. Bev noted that Leah could be named Teacher of the Year every single year. Leah will often refer to Bev as her school mom because Bev takes care of some things for both of them, like her Mind 101 and newsletters. Leah also says of Bev, quote, she is a person who could have a lot to complain about, being a cancer survivor and dealing with other health issues on a daily basis. But I've never heard her complain one day in over 20 years. After 20 plus years of teaching together, you certainly learn one another's quirks as well. Leah says Bev loves to mow her lawn with a push mower whenever she is stressed. Bev stated that Leah enjoys sweeping and mopping her classroom floor. Both ladies mentioned separately on their questionnaires their nonverbal language of facial expressions, head movements, and eye engagements while others are present in the room. I can tell what you're saying about me right now. Some more about Leah. She has 3 wonderful children, Mandy, Matt, and Jackie. Jackie explains, my mom is a smart woman, but she has no sense of direction. She could get lost in a circle. And sometimes she doesn't pay any attention to detail. For example, I drive a white Jeep. However, any white vehicle she sees, no matter the make or model, she will walk up to thinking it's mine. Mandy says, my mom's favorite thing to do on Friday night is to go eat at El Chaparral. Then she does the triple B. Goes to take a bath, read her book, and get into bed. Matt says, my mom is the fishing queen. One time I told my mom to come over by me because I was catching so many fish. She walked over and slammed a 28-inch trout down in front of me. She is a determined person, and she always catches the most fish at the end of the day. Leah's husband, Jimmy Dunn, had probably the most interesting questionnaire return. These are going to be actual photos of his questionnaire, completely unedited. In the first one, it's tough to see, but the word there has been whited out. Not a big deal, likely a common there mistake that we've all made before. In the second photo, you can see the word granddaughter has been whited out. Again, not a big deal, probably just a simple misspelling. Leah, being a 4th grade writing teacher, likely did some small editing and revising. But here's where it gets interesting. In the final photograph, you see both words of beautiful bride have white out underneath them. Jimmy, what else could have possibly been there previously that Leah would have had to white out and replace with beautiful bride? On the response to something funny about Leah, Jimmy said she cannot secure a lid on any container after it has been opened. So there you have it, folks. The key to a successful marriage is to find one person strong enough to open the lid and one person smart enough to put it back on. Her kids know that her teaching has led many students to live prosperous and successful lives. They said, no one forgets who Mrs. Dunn is. Everyone remembers her creative and passionate teaching. For instance, in her earlier years, a lot of students remember her cow reading bench and the giant blow-up whale she used for science projects. Her daughters inherited her passion for teaching in the fields of nursing and elementary education. They said, our brother was impacted by my mother's loud teaching voice. He got yelled at a lot. Leah, enjoy your ride off into the sunset. Just make sure you get in the right car before you take that ride. Bev Martinez. Colleagues use the following words to describe Bev: welcoming, calm, easygoing, and kind. But I think one word missing is determined. Bev gives 110% to every task that she does. Don't believe me? Let's take a look back at that scooter race from earlier. This is pretty impressive, but this is really only Bev's 60% right here. If we keep going to 70, to 80, there's 100. But Bev doesn't keep it 100, she keeps it 110. Some things we should know about Bev, as told by her 4th grade teaching team. Christina Rodriguez says Bev always has bread and peanut butter handy. Leah Dunn says Bev loves Diet Dr. Pepper and her 4 bulldogs. Leah said she loves her dogs so much she actually talks to them on camera via her Ring doorbell app at school. This is sadly not a joke. Ashley Pena says Bev always brings lavender oil for the whole team to use during high-stress situations. Alyssa Rodriguez said, well, Nothing, because even though her questionnaire was in her WHIP folder for 3 weeks, it never got turned into me. For those of you unfamiliar with what a WHIP folder is, that is a work in progress folder, not to be confused with the newly invented TIP folder. All of them, of course, added, they nor her students would ever forget all of Bev's classroom chants. Ms. Pena also noted what an admirable relationship Bev has with her son, Cade. She hopes to have that type of relationship one day with her own son. Speaking of Cade, he was quick to point out that his mother is the Dr. Dolittle of the dog world. He says, quote, "At one point in time, we had a pack of about 6 dogs, ranging from 100-pound labs to an English bulldog. It was the most fun, yet chaotic experience to be around. Some dogs would be in the pool while others were grabbing everything in sight and tearing it apart. Eventually, my mom had every single dog trained. It was a sight to see all of the dogs sitting together with eyes glued on my mom holding a hot dog." Cade says, "She is someone to look up to in this world. Growing up with her, I got to see the sides that not everyone gets the opportunity to have firsthand. Such a strong woman with great work ethics, morals, and a loving heart. She is a blast to be with, and you will never hear a negative thing come out of her mouth. I strive to be just like her on a daily basis." As a send-off to Bev, I'd like to teach you guys all a new chant. We're going to need some crowd participation. We're going to do it one time through. When I point to you, I need everybody to clap and say, "Bev, Bev." Let's practice one time. Oh, let's practice one time. Bev, Bev. There we go. Okay, here we go. Ready? It's time to go. Thanks for teaching us all you know. You're the best. Enjoy your dogs and extra rest. We'll see you soon. Let's all sing one final tune. We'll miss your charm and we'll miss your sass. Don't let the door hit you on the end. Now, can everybody stand up real quick? We're going to sing that to Bev as they're going away. We'll put the words up here for you. So go ahead and stand up. I'm serious. Melanie was serious. This is serious. Stand up. So we're going to do it all together on the count of 3. Remember, you're clapping on the Bev, Bev. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Bev, Bev, it's time to go. Thanks for teaching all you know. Bev, Bev, you're the best. Enjoy your dogs and extra rest. Bev, Bev, we'll see you soon. Let's all sing one final tune. Bev, Bev, we'll miss your charm, miss your sass. Don't let the door hit you on the end.
Great job, bravo.
Last but not least, Liz Holguin. When I asked Claudia and Chasley about doing a roast, I originally requested an allowance of 5 swear words. For the record, my request was declined. Though it would still not have been enough, all 5 of these words would have been reserved for Liz's portion of the speech. Why would that be necessary, you may ask? Because I can't recall a time ever having a conversation with Liz Holguin or talking about Liz Holguin that at least one swear word was not used. For proof of this, look no further than the 4th line of Liz's own daughter's questionnaire. I turned him into dollar signs, so it's math related. Here's a picture of Liz doing some light reading during a recent planning meeting. If we zoom in here, we get a better view of what exactly she's looking at. This seems wonderful, Carl, but as you will see from the next picture, it may not mean that much. We found a copy of Liz's most recent IRI Fontes and Pinnell reading assessment, and if you look closely here, you will see she is reading at a level C, which is approximately end of the year kindergarten level. And even more worrisome is the fact that she scored 1 out of 7 on the comprehension of what she read. On his questionnaire under reasons you'll remember the retiree, Carl wrote, "Because I'm married to her. Northside got 32 of her best years, and I'm just going to take her from here." Carl, I highly recommend keeping a drink and credit card at all times and making sure dinner is never late. May God have mercy on your soul. Carl is not the only person to know when someone is about to feel the wrath of Liz. Both her daughter Miranda and our reading specialist, Mrs. Munoz, said when her glasses come down her nose and you hear the words, honey, or listen here, sweetie, you know it's time for somebody to run. Though Liz can indeed put on a scary face from time to time, everyone knows what a sweet lady she is. She's all about the children first, Mrs. Munoz continued. She only does what she does based on what's best for all of her students. She never sugarcoats anything and she tells you like it is, good or bad. Jennifer Platt, our other reading specialist, adds, although I've only been here for a few months, Holguin has left a lasting impression on me, inspiring me with her work ethic, love for her students, passion for helping others, and being a great mentor and role model. Shanna Hansen describes Liz as a dedicated, family-oriented, and, quote, one of Northside's very best. Shanna is a 30-year-long friend of Holguin's. She is a former co-worker and a former roommate of Liz's. Shanna is one of many central office bigwigs that appeared on Liz Holguin's mile-long guest list today. We get it, Liz. You're connected. Shanna says Liz has a deep faith and treasures her time with family. Liz is also hilarious and always up for a good time. We had some fun times back in the late 80s, early 90s while we were in our early 20s. Just how fun were the late 80s? Let's take a look and see. When Shanna got to the question about her favorite memories with Liz, her memory seemed to be a bit hazy. I can't think of one specific memory, and I can't remember what they said. Seems to be a pattern of non-remembering going on here. Then I found out who their third roommate was.
Oh.
Yes, you guessed it. Famous children's author Patsy Visco. Who'd you think it was, Liz?
I don't know.
They were reading so much children's literature at the time that they got caught up in the storyline and couldn't remember what was actually happening in their own lives. In all seriousness, I'd like to point out another part from our quote from Shanna. She says, quote, we were blessed to have a great group of colleagues who nurtured us and showed us how to work hard for the kids and have a lot of fun doing it. Does that not sound like the epitome of what Liz Holguin has done for all of us? To quote Liz herself, seriously people, what better example of hard work mixed with fun could we have had than Liz? Liz, you're a saint. I would say that I'm going to miss you, but I know you'll be right back here next year tutoring like a crazy woman, red pens falling out of your hair, demanding to know where missing items are from the math inventory list. So I'll just say see you soon. To all four of you, enjoy your retirement. You have selflessly given decades of your own lives to better those of others around you. Countless hours of lesson planning, grading, time sacrifice from your own families, all to give your students the best education possible. It is now your time to enjoy the little things. Sleep in, hit the beach, take some photographs, curl up with a good book, adopt 100 more dogs, dance like no one is watching at the Brass Monkey. Enjoy your children, your grandchildren, and heck, even stick around for some great-grandchildren. As your final days here draw to an end, please know how much you are appreciated. You have not only shaped the young minds in your classrooms, you have inspired the co-workers you work next to every single day. Your passion, commitment, and personalities will carry on through all of us. Before you go, remember to sweep and mop the floor, leave a crayon on the desk for the new teacher next year, drop a final Dr. Pepper bottle into the trash, remove that red pen from your ponytail one last time, and like Mary Tyler Moore, take a good look around, hit the lights, and head home knowing that you have left this school and the world as a whole a better place than it was before you. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and join me in a round of applause for all four of these outstanding students.